The day bison graced your village was the most important day of your life. But for me, it was Tuesday.
Welcome to the Rated G for Gamers podcast, episode 379. Before we start the show, we want to thank all of our wonderful fans who have supported us. And if you want to show support for the Rated G Network, you can find us on Patreon at patreon.com/Rated G for Gamers. You can also find us on YouTube, X, Instagram, Facebook, and Threads at Rated G for Gamers. And finally, please rate and review us on iTunes and Spotify. We appreciate all the love. I'm your host, Dave Rattino, and this is my co-host, Dan. We've been on a small sabbatical, Robinson.
What's going on, man?
Been a while. I had to switch it up. It has been a while. We got a little bit of housekeeping at the top of the show. I think we should just get into it and address the Super Mario Wonder elephant in the room. Is that properly themed?
You know what? I'll give you that one.
Yeah, it's good.
Because I know what's happening. I'll give you that one. That was a good one. Okay.
So, as you all know, me and Dad have 9 to 5s, right? And sometimes work gets
9 to 5, sometimes 9 to 9, sometimes 12 to 12, sometimes just 72 hours somewhere in the closet. I mean,
You understand, Dan. Sometimes things get a little hectic, and we had to take a little break from the show. I picked up some work that became super heavy. It was a lot. And let's just say, as much as I wanted to push through and do the show, and Dan's like, maybe we take a little break. Maybe we take we can do this. It just became too much, so we had to take a bit of a break. And that's, where we've been for the last couple of months. And we have been itching to get back on the mics and do this episode. There is some other news. It's been 8, maybe 8.5 years at this point that we've been doing Rated G. We started this in 2015.
8 1/4.
Yeah.
8 1/4.
Yeah. Started this August 2015. I remember we were doing this in my bedroom with like 2 shitty little mics and a.
We were holding the mics.
Yep.
We were holding the mics.
We did not know what we
and no air conditioning whatsoever in the summertime.
No, because this guy is a cheap motherfucker. Let me tell you. Sorry, the curses are coming out this episode too.
You are a cheap motherfucker.
Listen, it's expensive to run an air conditioner. But anyway,
and you still don't run an air conditioner.
No, I don't.
Nothing's changed.
It's expensive.
Changed.
It's very expensive.
Nothing's changed.
Yeah, but anyway, I say all that to say that the one Dave Rattino, half of Rated G for Gamers, is going to be stepping down from the show. As much as I love doing it, much as I love talking video games with Dan, this is one of the highlights of my week. I don't want to step down from the show, but sometimes you gotta make difficult decisions in life, and this is one of those difficult decisions. And it didn't come lightly. It took a lot of discussion. Me and Dad had some back and forths and whatnot. Everything's still gravy. Everything's still good. Happy to come back on anytime and talk games. I love it. So, yeah.
So let me just be clear.
Mm-hmm.
We started this show in 2015 because in 2015, which is kind of weird to think about. If you think about like the origin and everything, I've known you since 2003 or 2. Right? When did you start at Circuit City?
About that lot. I think it was a little later, maybe 2004.
So it's been 20 years. I've known you for 20 years.
I know. Oh,
right?
Shoot. You have known me for 20 years. That's crazy. All right.
I know you for 20 years.
All right. Yeah. Milestones, baby.
I know. I mean, I was in grade school when I met you. So, so that makes me.
Wait, what? Oh, you're trying to call me old. I see.
So, Yeah. And I never knew you played games ever. Like I didn't know you were like a gamer or anything like that. I mean, I knew you were a PC guy. You talked about like, World of Warcraft or no, not World of Warcraft. What do you do every Tuesday? You play
D&D, yeah.
D&D. You play D&D, right?
I did talk a little bit of World of Warcraft because Mark from Warehouse played, and he got me into it.
But I never knew that you were like a gamer. And then like in 2015, like we started hanging out again, and you're like, I don't know who talking about games. And I was like, holy shit! I got another grown person I could talk about playing video games with, because I don't know anybody who plays video games. Right. Well, at the time, at least.
Yeah.
We said, hey, maybe we should do something, right? And it's just purely for fun.
Yep.
And it was rated G for gamers.
8.5 years of fun.
That was how the podcast started.
Yeah. And I know a lot of people who have come and gone in the podcasting space. To bring it into 2024 terms, it seems everybody is quitting the game.
Dropping off.
Yeah. Matt Pat is stepping down. This guy, Tom Scott, does a lot of tech videos online. He's stepping down. A lot of our Instagram friends are kind of stepping down from the thing. And
half a game sack is gone.
Half a game sack is gone. Yeah, that's right. The massive exodus from The Escapist, even though they turned into a phoenix and did Second Wind and all that, and that's going pretty well. But
the completionist may be done, not of his own, not yeah.
Well, it was his own doing.
That's a little different. It's not of his own doing, but it was of his own doing. So but
he doesn't necessarily want to step back into the shadows, but there's a lot of stuff that's gone down in the last 4 months. It's crazy.
But I just want to say, let me make this very clear: the show, as presently constructed, is over. Because it's a show that me and you made together.
That's right.
And all the quirks of even our intro that was like. Something that just materialized, and the games that we've been playing, all those things wouldn't be the same without you, because of how we sort of created that. So the Rated G show, as presently constructed, is going away, but I will still be doing something in the future. It's going to take me a bit. It's going to take me a little while because I got life.
Next time.
That's right. If you're looking at the video portion of this, you see is an organized, chaotic mess behind me. And that's because I'm trying to sell my house and buy a new house.
Yep. Oh, shoot. I love it. That's awesome. I was a little surprised. I didn't know Dan was going to do that. Got some special effects.
So that's so I have to take a break, now because of that. And all of this is going to be boxed up, so I don't know when I'm going to get a chance to actually take it out of the box and record. But I do have some ideas. I've talked to some other people. And something from Rated G will happen in the future, or I will do something with it. I just don't know what I'm going to do, or I don't know when that's going to be, I should say. I have an idea what I want to do. But the show, as we've done it for 379 episodes, or I should say 379 and a half episodes. Always get that first episodes.
Well, to be, if you want to be completely accurate.
Okay, all right, like 380 something, right? Yes, I know.
There's a couple of those E3 ones which we didn't put a number to. Plus all Saturday morning retro episodes too. So there's those. Granted, it's a different podcast, but still.
I will say I'm going to. You will be missed, and I miss our banter. I will miss our banter. We naturally, and this is another reason why we started the show, we naturally are on opposite sides of
it's just, it's Christ. We're like Democrats and Republicans. We're like peanut butter and chocolate. That's a reference from way back when.
Yeah.
And I know Dan hates it.
I do hate it.
Although peanut butter and chocolate go very well together, though, so I think it's a bad analogy.
They do.
Yeah. So, it's crazy.
So it was easy to have content because I know you're gonna go this way, and I gotta go. My opinions are this. So
It was like Hot Take Central. I was Shep, and
but you will be missed. I will miss you, my dear friend. You know, we did talk a lot back when we did the show, so hopefully we don't lose that portion of it behind the scenes. And whatever I do, you're always welcome to come on as a guest.
Yeah. Listen. As long as I'm the first special guest to come on that show, everything's gonna be gravy.
But with that said, let's have an awesome last show. And you know, it's go out with a bang. But I think it's like meant to be. It's like your last show. I'm gonna do you a solid. Let's talk about Xbox.
Oh, that's right. Xbox Developers Showcase. Is that what they're calling it? 2024?
Yeah. You are, well, I wouldn't say self-proclaimed.
No, you put that title on me. You put that crown on me.
Dan proclaimed. You are an Xbox fanboy. And then you say I'm always a PlayStation fanboy. And there may be some truth to both of that, right?
I see a lot of blue boxes behind you, Dan. It's a sea of blue.
Well, you know, I got some red/white boxes, right?
No Xbox though. I don't see any green.
Well, it's right behind me. It's right. Well, because they had black boxes.
Yeah, you had to put it behind you to get it all covered up.
I had to put it behind me.
I see.
But I can't let you go without talking about Xbox and the developer showcase. And what do you think? How do you think Xbox is gonna do in 2024?
If this presentation is anything to go by, I think they're going to do really well. Because they showed about 5 or 6 games, I think, right? And if they're to be believed, they're all coming out this year. It's not bad, right? I guess we're going to get into all the individual games. But taken as a whole, everything that they showed, I'm excited.
Yeah. No, listen, that's like one big game every quarter, kind of. And that's like the big promise that Phil Spencer had. But put that aside, I like the presentation. Like the way they had the whole, they showed you what games they're going to talk about with developers, and they had the whole little scribble animations. And I just thought that was awesome. And I hope they keep that up. It was
nice. Yeah. Good look. I agree. I
mean, Senua Saga Hellblade 2, it's finally getting a release date. It's coming out in May, right?
I think if they didn't show it now, it was looking worse and worse for them every single time, because they showed it in 2019 at the Game Awards.
That's when it was announced. That's when it was announced.
Because that was the announcement of the Series X. We got to see what it looked like, and we got to see Senua then, and now it's like 5 years later almost. Well, 4 technically, right?
Some bad news though. Digital only. They will not be putting out.
I missed that. Yeah. No physical.
And the game, no physical. I think they said the game's gonna be about $50, and it's about 8 hours. It's only gonna be 8 hours long.
Sure, I love the price.
Around that time.
I love the price. That kind of takes the sting a little bit out of the all digital thing that they're going with, right? A little bit.
I mean, if you have Game Pass, you're fine.
It's free.
But free. So I will play it, but I don't know, because I'm a collector, that I'm gonna lose a little bit of little bit of joy, and a little bit of excitement that I'm not gonna actually have it to put on the shelf.
Sure.
Next to Hellblade 1, right?
Yeah.
So,
I'd almost say that
I was a little bummed out when I heard that.
I would say that you and me would both agree we'd rather it be $70 and have a physical.
Yes.
As 100%. Dumb as that sounds, right? It'd be better to have the physical. Yeah. Yeah. And 8 hours, I think is fine. That's enough time to get out, right? We don't have as much time as we did when we were kids. You can tell a good story in 8 hours. That's like a Call of Duty campaign, right?
Well, it's on Unreal Engine 5. It looks great. people were a little taken back because they said the combat, they're doing it differently. And it's like, well, show us the combat. And that's the one thing they didn't show. They didn't show us
what is the gameplay? Yep.
with the actual gameplay, right? They put a lot of emphasis on the atmosphere and the sounds, and they want you to play this game with headphones so you can hear the voices, the voices coming in and out, right? And I think that was totally awesome.
Yeah, spatial audio is sounds good.
But what's the gameplay like? They said they're changing the gameplay from the first game, but they didn't put any emphasis on how. So that's the only thing where I'm like taken back and like,
sure,
okay, it's not even, you don't have a physical release. It is cheaper. It's a shorter experience, and I don't know how the gameplay is going to be. So,
well,
I'm putting a question mark on this game.
Sure.
Now,
that also says to me is that we're gonna get live gameplay at, I was gonna say E3, but E3 is no more, at whatever Summer Games Fest Xbox showcase thing, and then the game's gonna come out in the fall, because I don't think they're gonna put the game out without showing you combat stuff,
May 21st.
Right? No, it is
coming out May 21st.
Oh, okay, I missed that. I think
they're gonna have a showcase before then.
Between now and then, 100%.
Yes.
Yeah, I missed it. I forgot that it was coming out in May. That's right. Yeah, but like maybe like March or whatever. Here's what the gameplay's like, right? To get you kind of hyped for it.
Well, we got to see Avowed. From Obsidian. I will say this: I've had zero excitement for this game because it's mostly an RPG. A lot of people say it looks like Skyrim, right? It has like those elements of Skyrim.
Yeah.
I was kind of digging it. I'm not gonna lie. I'm just looking at it. I'm kind of digging, the whole atmosphere. I would give this a try. It's coming out in the fall. We don't have a release date, but it is coming out. It will probably be one of their big fall releases. I
got more hype for this game than I ever had watching the trailer. So I feel you, because it wasn't looking great. All the trailers were kind of like, I guess, I don't know. It's another first-person Skyrim style game or whatever. But yeah, no, it's shaping up to be something decent. I feel like it's going to do well. I don't think it's going to be a Starfield flop or anything like that. It's not going to even be on that scale. But it's a new IP, right, from one of their acquired studios. So, there is a little bit of hesitancy. Is it going to do well? What's even the lore going to be like? How's the combat? How does it feel? But yeah, I think it'll be all right.
And then, we got a pleasant surprise. Square Enix dropped in, right? And it's like,
for a first.
The share us an update on Visions of Mana that's coming out in the summer of 2024. It's actually the only game shown in the showcase that will not be in Games Pass.
Right.
But I kind of dig, I dig all the Mana series, right? I'm not a big fan of RPGs, but there's certain RPGs that get me. And it's an action RPG, and it has to be if you want to get me.
Yep.
All right.
Ever since the first one, all of the Mana games are action RPG style. And it's monumental because this is the first time that a Mana game is going to be on an Xbox console. That's wild to think about, right? None of the remasters or remakes or any of the Mana games, and there was a lot. I was like, I recognized like half of the Mana games. And I was like, oh, I didn't even realize these other ones were even here. So I got to go like track them down and pick those up. But yeah, wild. So hopefully this means that the other Mana games are going to be coming to Xbox as well, because that'd be awesome.
That would be awesome if they had like sort of like a Games Pass thing for the older games. Maybe not the new games because they still want to get those first release sales numbers, but you could put the older games on Games Pass.
For sure.
That makes sense. Yeah. I could see that being something they do in the summertime, right before this game drops. It's not exclusive by any means. Don't worry. Yeah. It's not exclusive. It will be coming to PlayStation. Well, all consoles. I think this also should be coming to Switch too, or whatever the new console is.
Oh yeah, Switch 2. Yeah.
But we got to see the big game that we've all been waiting for, and that is Indiana Jones, and it's called Indiana Jones in the Great Circle. It's officially revealed. It's not. People thought it was going to be third person. I mean, but it's first person view. Right. How do you feel about that?
You know what? I did not even cross my mind that it would be an issue.
Well, people were thinking of the game. I mean, the movies, sort of inspired Tomb Raider,
Sure.
Uncharted.
Yeah.
So they thought it would be in that vein where the franchise inspired these games. Maybe the games will inspire the franchise if they're going to make a game to make a game like that. But they did it in
Right.
first person because they want you to live the life of
Indy.
Indiana Jones.
Yeah. Which I think is super cool. There are tons of potential problems because now you're platforming in first person, which normally doesn't do that well. You're doing all the combat in first person, the melee, the whipping, like gun shooting is fine. It's everything else that's like, I don't know, But I think, because this is coming from Machine Games, right? Who have done all of the new Wolfenstein games. So they know how to do first person games very, very well. So I
got the whip right.
I have faith. It looks awesome. You can like whip the weapon out of the Nazis' hands, and you can whip onto things and swing around. Yeah.
You can whip them and pull them close to you. But when you're doing like certain climbing scenes, they cut to certain things you do in there, like puzzles or climbing. I think you cut to third person, so you do get to see that iconic Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
But when you're doing more action based stuff and platforming, you will be third person.
And they got
Troy Baker.
They got not only Troy Baker, they got Harrison Ford's facial likeness. Which is
they did.
Awesome. I was, because like they had it. I think they like started off the trailer and you could see him from behind, and I was like, I wonder. And then you see him, and I was like, oh, and it sounded like him too, and I'm like, did they?
It did.
Harrison Ford, Troy Baker.
That's all their budget.
Yeah.
That's all their budget.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're gonna do it, you got to do it right. Troy Baker's the guy. Make it happen. Oh, I love it. So that's like amazing. I'm glad they got Troy to do it. I'm glad they got Indy's likeness. I don't know. Did you see the last? Did you see the Dial of Destiny movie?
Not yet. I have it queued up. It's on Disney Plus. I will see it, but I haven't got a chance to see it yet.
Because the sidekick who's with him, I'm assuming that's a sidekick, his lady friend or whatever, looks very similar to Phoebe Waller-Bridge's character in The Dial of Destiny. But considering the time period in which the movie comes out and the time period in which...
she's the daughter of somebody. I think like during the trailers they hit that she's like the daughter of somebody from the past, in the past movies.
From the video games. Or in the Circle game, you mean?
No. In the movie. Wait, I'm so confused. We're talking about the movie that just came out, or we're talking about the game?
We're talking about both. What I was saying is that the actress in the fifth Indiana Jones movie looked very similar to the lady in the game, but not because the timelines don't match up.
The character is the daughter of somebody.
Right. Okay.
In one of the older movies.
Okay.
They hit to that in the trailers.
Okay.
So it's like you got to watch the movie to find out if she's, whose daughter is she?
Right. Yep.
So I think that's what that is.
Yeah. But super cool. I am totally on board for Indiana Jones.
I didn't see this. I didn't see anything. I don't know if this is an exclusive though. Mm-hmm. Because this is Disney, right? And we don't know if this is going to be a console exclusive because again, those contracts were signed prior to the acquisition, but there were reports that Xbox went in and said, "Yeah, now we bought, now that we own Machine Games, now we got to redo these contracts. It needs to be exclusive. We'll pay whatever money we need to pay."
That's what they did for Starfield.
Don't know if that's true.
They made Starfield first party.
Well, Starfield is a little different because that's a brand new IP made by Bethesda, where this is, an IP sort of being licensed from Disney, right?
You get a little bit less red tape to deal with. Yeah. For sure. Yeah. Because you own the studio that created it. So, yeah.
Yeah. So you could be like, no, Disney. It's exclusive. That's it. No ends or buts about it.
Yeah.
But when it comes to Indiana Jones, Disney may want it. Disney may want this on everything, right?
Yeah. Because you always make more profits more often than not when it's multi-platform. All right.
Yeah.
You have a wider audience. I'm going to assume it's not coming to Switch. Probably
no,
not.
It's not coming to Switch. I will say
Xbox,
this.
PC,
I think,
maybe PlayStation. Yeah.
or it could be a timed exclusive too. But I think
Could be.
Microsoft is going to have, Xbox is going to have a great year. They're going to have a stellar year.
Yeah.
And I'm a little annoyed. You know, I miss the old PlayStation centric podcast, like the old Beyond, the old PS I Love You XOXO. You know, where I hear these guys and some of these new guys, and they're just like crapping on Sony. It's like, we don't know what's coming out this year. This sucks. It's like, we had so many great years. It's okay to have a down year. Xbox had a couple of down years, right?
Did.
And those Xbox,
They did.
And all those Xbox centric podcasts were more optimistic, like for the future. It's like, we had really great year last year. We had a great year, or we had a good year last year. We had a great year the year before. So relax. Something's gonna come out.
There you go.
Stop.
There you go. Dan's got the insider track, right? You got this. You and Mark Cerny are like this. You know what's up.
I'm not saying they're gonna have their own Indiana Jones. Something's gonna come out because they have to, but it's not gonna be the end of the world.
I mean,
so stop it.
Yeah.
Xbox. It's Xbox's turn to have a great year.
That's right. They're gonna kill it, I think.
They're gonna kill it. But Dave, because I knew this was your last show, I sort of gonna love this. I brought it back just for you.
Oh! Can we play What's in Dan's Cup one last time? There you go. Put your answers on X, not on Twitter. It doesn't exist anymore. X.com, baby. /rated G for gamers. What's in Dan's Cup? I'm going to take a stab, and I'm going to say it's not water. And I'm gonna make a bet that I'm right. Oh no! Well, wait a minute. Just because you have the water doesn't mean the water's in the cup.
You're right. I got water over here, so it's not in the cup. So you're right about that.
Boom! There you go. I win. That's 2-1 odds. I bet 100. I win 2. Boom.
Dave, as we always try to start this show, one last time, but epically fail. What have you been playing?
Dad, I can't do it. I love this segment because this is where we get to talk about the shit that we've been playing, and
which is the whole reason why we even started the show.
That's right. I think
which is the gag. Which is the gag for anybody who's listening for the first time. We started the show to talk about the games we were playing, and we never get to it in the beginning of the show like we always said we
later
would.
And later. So, yeah, lot to mention. I'm going to go over them kind of quickly because I don't want it to take up the whole entire show. But Final Fantasy 16, got into that. Loving it, right? Maybe about halfway through it at this point. I got back into Civilization 6. Great 4X strategy game. Love it. Well, it was free on a Epic Game Store a while ago, and then I forgot to reinstall it when I, reinstalled Windows on my computer and all that. And I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot. Civ is great. But then also I forgot that you play a game of Civ and then you start it on Tuesday at 8 a.m. and then the next thing you know, it's like St. Patrick's Day because the games take forever. But I love it. Civ 6 is great. Also playing Halo Infinite, the multiplayer, building some maps and, doing all the fun multiplayer stuff. And also Gran Turismo 7. Love that game. It's very good. And they're doing a pretty good job of adding new content in there. They added in their first snow track, which is great. Bunch of new cars, bunch of new modes. So, it's good stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. How about you, Dan?
Well, I've been playing some NBA 2. It's NBA seasons, but some NBA 2K on PS5.
There you go. 2K24, yeah?
2K24. You'd be happy to know.
What'd you do?
Been playing PSVR 2, baby. The Horizon game. I've been putting the VR headset on. It took you
$1,000 to finally put on your PlayStation headset, because the first one you barely used. You just sat there collecting dust.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, well, here's a tip for people who own these headsets. Don't leave it out. Put it in a box or somewhere insulated.
Oh my God, yes.
The original one, the rubber is like rubbing off.
Yep. Oh yeah, mine was all flaking off, and I yeah,
crazy.
It's terrible. Not a fan of that.
So now I put it in the box when I'm not using it. But it's so much easier because it's just one plug.
Yep.
And you just plug it and you just put it in.
Yep.
And I got it right here. I got the the hand controls. Controllers,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So the controllers are awesome, I will say. And the Horizon game is freaking amazing.
That's good.
I'm in the boat. I see the monsters. I see the robotic dinosaurs coming. I will say this: the game is, and people have complained about it. But I mean, what else do you want? What else you want them to do? Mm-hmm. The game is very repetitive. It's you're doing one of two things. You're doing a lot of climbing. You're doing a lot of climbing.
Sure.
Right? I'm doing a lot of climbing, and it's combat. It's
right.
I gotta
throwing the ball,
move out of the way.
Back. Yep.
Throwing the bow. Yep. Throwing the bow, and basically to sort of get another bow, you just like hit behind you, and you get another bow.
Oh, like
another arrow.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm doing another arrow. Boom, boom, and it's tough to like get that eye shot in one of those, like that monster. I keep saying monsters, robotic dinosaurs.
Yeah.
So it's really you get the hang of it after a while. The thing that really, I guess, it gets annoying is the climbing, because you do the climbing, you're kind of tired, and now there's a dinosaur coming at you, and now you gotta, so you went from doing a lot of this, and trust me, the climbing, they don't make it super easy where it's like boom, boom, boom. They make it.
You gotta really stretch for it, right?
Yeah. You gotta really reach up. So it's like
good
exercise,
thing you're tall,
man.
Dan. You really got that wingspan, right? You're good.
I will say I can't play it in the basement because I'll end up hitting the ceiling.
Oh my God!
Ceiling
is
lower, so I keep hitting my arms in the basement. So I have to play it. I have to play it sitting down. I literally have to play it sitting down.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's funny.
Because I'm sitting here. I keep hitting the controller on the ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
So because they ask you in the beginning, are you playing standing up or are you playing sitting down?
Right.
So I have to play it sitting down.
Right.
So. But I will say it takes you out of the immersion when you're sitting down, because I like to look around. And Aloy, she comes at you and she gives you advice, right? And then you leave. So I like to look around, but it's hard to do that when you're sitting down.
Right.
So in my new place, I will have a dedicated area to play VR.
Nice. I would say, I know you're not a big like racing guy, but Gran Turismo in VR is amazing. It's really cool. I mean, you can drive. Drive any car. They got the electrics. They got the 4-wheel drives. They got the nice like rally cars in there. They got big ass trucks. They got Formula One. They got everything, and they model the cockpits like they're all super detailed and accurate.
No, I want to do it again. I would be playing more VR games. If it wasn't for the fact that it's like I'm boxing everything up.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing I can say about that. It's just because I'm boxing everything up.
Yeah. Okay.
Dave, before we get into our last segment, which we will give a final game of the year to 2023, one of the greatest gaming years of all time, and I'll give that to Dave because Dave called it first.
I told you it was going to be a good year.
We already talked about Xbox. So what are you predictions or thoughts of 2024 for Sony and Nintendo? What do you think?
Ooh, Sony's a tough one. I feel like they're going to have at least one big showing for PSVR 2. Because, I mean, it's only like a year old, right? If even. And
came out in March.
They need to really push and support it because they kind of I don't want to throw mud on Sony, but they did kind of back away from the PSVR 1.
They did. 100%.
There was like third-party support and a bunch of digital stuff that you could get and all that, and there was some really great experiences, but they kind of backed away pretty quickly from it, even though it did sell pretty well and the attach rate was pretty good. And the PSVR 2 is a much better experience, as the headset's a lot better. There's only one wire. It's a lot more comfortable. The visuals are like night and day between the first one. I think you're going to get a lot more people who are interested in it now, and if you put the appropriate game out there, Wipeout, just saying, you can have a good time with it. But so I think they're going to come big with that, and they're going to have to start resurrecting some old franchises. They need to get some stuff on the board, right? Where's the Ghost of Tsushima 2? The Wolverine game? Right? Where's that? They gotta may not come out this year, but they have to come out they have to show something to get people hyped for the system. Maybe there's a Pro around the corner. I don't know. I think maybe that would be next year. I don't know. Maybe it is time. It's been 3 years and a month maybe since the console came out. Is it time? Is that when the Pro models got announced for last generation? Not too sure.
Me neither. I do think there will be a Pro model coming out personally, because they were right about the Portal, and I know you weren't so hyped about the Portal, but I do use the Portal when I do when I travel.
Sure.
So, and I think it works perfect for me, for my purpose, right? And I like the way I like the way it feels. I like the way it looks. It's nice and sleek. And it's a nice size screen too, by the way. And you really do need a good internet connection. Like you do. Like if I know I'm leaving, I'm taking the Portal with me. I do plug in my PS5 Slim, because I do have the Slim. I got that for Christmas. I do plug that in through the Ethernet, just so I have a decent connection. Well, I have a great connection. So.
Now, do you think they're going to try and improve the Portal experience at all? I don't even know what you could do necessarily.
No, I think that's just a one-off. It's just a controller.
Yeah,
it's a one-off. I think we'll get the Pro model. There are. I mean, we haven't done the show, but there have been like rumors that the dev kits are already out there in hand.
Oh, for sure.
Just like there are rumors that there are dev kits for the next Nintendo console out there already as well.
Yeah, 100%. That's how it's been. It came out in 2017. We're coming up on 7 years, and Super Mario Wonder was great. Don't get me wrong, but it's a 2D experience. It's not really pushing the boundaries of graphical excellence by any means. Artistically amazing, but like not very taxing, right? Like an Xbox One could run that game, all things considered. And Tears of the Kingdom did come out, and it was great, but they spent a whole year trying to optimize it. So there's like no more headroom in that game to make it any better, really. And for them to stay competitive, it's time for the Switch 2, or whatever they're going to call it.
Do you think it's going to be a handheld hybrid?
Well, yeah, definitely. Because
has to be.
Well, because of how good the Switch did, the first one, the current one. I think it's inevitable that they're going to do it again. Just make it more powerful.
A Switch Pro. I think it's a Switch Pro. I don't know if they'll use the name Switch, but it's going to be a Pro model along those lines.
Well,
it has to be minimum specs has to be a PS4, handheld PS4 at like the minimum.
But you're not saying that it's just going to be an enhanced version of the current system.
No, I think they're going to change it up. I think they're going to change.
But you think they're going to call it a Switch Pro?
I think I don't know if they're no. I don't think they're going to call it a Switch Pro.
Oh, you're just saying
maybe, and I could
going
be.
to be an enhanced model.
It's a Switch Pro, meaning it's going to be a very advanced model of what
Oh,
we
okay.
already have.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe we don't have detachable Joy-Cons. Maybe they get rid of that portion
Possible,
and
yeah.
just
Possible.
make it like a light switch or a Switch Lite, right?
Mm-hmm. That would definitely
That's
save
a
on
pro.
cost a
That's a
little
pro
bit.
version.
That
Yeah.
would save on cost a little bit. Yeah, I don't think they're going to go too wacky with. They're not going to. I don't think they're going to pull like a Wii situation. It's going to be like going from N64 to GameCube, right? They didn't really
Yeah.
revolutionize anything. They just kind of like, here's a better controller, arguably, and here's a more powerful system. That's just a cube. That was their innovation. It's a cube.
That you can. It has a handle in the back, and you can carry with you if
Yeah,
you want.
yeah. Whenever they do the
You can take it to your
retrospectives.
friend's house.
Whenever they
You
do the
take it to your friend's
retrospectives,
house.
it's like, what was the major innovation of that sixth generation? Handle. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. So I'm definitely with you. I think it's going to be a fall release. Worst case scenario, it'll be March 2025 again if they want to like do that weird Hail Mary strategy and get out
But
in after Christmas and just put it out on
Metroid
its
Prime
own
4. Metroid Prime 4.
as a launch title.
I think that's
100%.
going to be the launch title.
It'll be cross compatible, I bet. They're gonna do a Twilight Princess or Breath of the Wild situation, because it's, as far as I'm concerned, that game is done or just about done, and they're refining it and just making, polishing off the edges and all that.
We haven't seen it because all the special features of that game will highlight the new system, and they don't want to announce the new system yet.
That's possible. Yeah, that's certainly possible, right? You don't want to, yeah, because how do you separate the two, right? Oh, here's a new Metroid game. Oh, what's the hook? We can't tell you yet. That'd be kind of dumb, because we already got burned once, and Nintendo's not going to do it again. Mm-mm.
All right, Dave. Getting to our last segment.
Mm-hmm.
This will be Rated G's last game in a year.
Mm-hmm.
2023.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to do a little bit differently this time.
Mm-hmm.
We will pick 5 apiece with some honorable mentions sprinkled in. But instead of having one game of the year, Dave will have his own game of the year, and I will pick my own game of the year.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. A first in the 8 years that we've been doing this, and I think we did it. I think we did game of the year every year
since 2015.
Every year. We've always come to a consensus. No matter how much we argued, we'd always pick a game. But now we're gonna be doing our own. And I think it makes sense. Because I haven't played all of the big games, not just like AAA games, but all of the like notable games that came out this year, and there were a lot. And kind of makes it a little hard because there are some games that seem like they would be up my alley, just haven't gotten into them yet, and can't really have an opinion if I haven't played it yet. So,
just before we get into our top 5, we got The Witcher 3, 2015. That was our game of the year.
Yeah.
Uncharted 4 in 2016.
Classic.
All right. Breath of the Wild in 2017. I think that was the first time where it could have went either way, because I really was pushing Mario Odyssey.
Mario Odyssey also right there. Yeah, they were neck and neck. Yeah.
They were neck and neck. God of War 2018, that one.
Right? The reboot. Yeah.
Right? Death Stranding, the second time we sort of, because I really liked
that was a knockdown drag out fight. I fought for Death Stranding. That it was between that and Jedi Fallen Order. Yep.
Yeah, and I really was fighting for full. I mean, that was a down year, to be honest.
It was a bit of a down year. Yep.
It was a little bit of a down year.
Yeah.
Then we got Ghost of Tsushima in 2020.
Classic.
Right, and I think it was between that and The Last of Us Part 2. Psychonauts 2 in 2021.
Mm-hmm.
And last year we got God of War Ragnarok.
Yep.
And then we can't have this episode without having one last reference.
I don't know what you're talking about, Dan. What could you be talking about?
To the game that made history. In-game gaming is gaming history. Okay? It's in the books.
It's the only game I think that's made this gaming milestone this gaming history.
The only game in history to be nominated for Game of the Year 3 years in a row.
Mm-hmm.
It is the Buffalo Bills of video games.
That's right. They kept going up against the Cowboys and lost every single time. Well, and the Niners, I think, to kick it off, and then the Cowboys.
So So the Order 1886.
The only game you could beat on a lunch break.
And Call of Duty
man.
campaign.
Yeah. Oh, for all the memeing I love to do in that game, or we love to do in that game. I know you're a fan of that game. You like it. It's a good game. It's just so short.
I thought listen, the joke came out of the fact that I felt like I was defending the game, and I'm like, it doesn't need to be defended. It's a good game. It's not people make it out. They act like the game is like Superman 64. That's how people like if you never played the game.
It's a perfectly good game.
And I thought the story was great. I thought the atmosphere was great. I thought the mechanically it worked. It was only, games at that time. Remember, this is, the early life of the PS4.
Mm-hmm.
Those games were 15-hour experiences, and this was only about 10 hours.
No,
right?
this is like 5 hours. It was short.
It was definitely not 5 hours. It was definitely not 5 hours. I'm sure if I go back and look at my playtime, it's almost 10 hours.
Okay. All right.
I mean, I think you've made that joke so much, you actually
No.
It's not 5 hours. Not 5 hours.
I extended my time by putting it on the hardest mode and slogging through that game because it was a little hard. It was a little tough on hard mode. I'll give you that. But
you always play games. I do.
And look, I had a great time. It was cool. I agree with everything you're saying. The shooting mechanics, I think, is good. The graphics look good for the time. They probably still look pretty good going back to it. Story was on point.
Story.
It's just, $60 for a 5-hour game is. It's a hard pill to swallow.
You can complete it in 10 and a half hours, and the main story about almost 9 hours.
Okay.
So there you go. So yeah, I thought people crapped on this game.
You're still going to
so hard for no reason, it had a lot of good to it that could have been improved if Facebook didn't buy the developer.
Now they're not. What are they doing now? We're not going to get an Order 1887 anytime soon. Ugh.
I don't know if Sony still owns the IP, but the studio, Facebook bought the studio.
Well, they're forced to work on the metaverse. Oof.
So I felt like I was pushed into a corner, defending the game. Because it's not as bad as people made it out to see, and that's where the joke came from. I
commend you for going to the mat for the Order 1886.
Thank you. All right. So before we get into pretty much our top 10 list, I do want to throw out some honorable mentions. Bayonetta Origins, Cereza, and the Lost Demon. Fantastic game. I love the mechanic. It's a Switch only game, Switch exclusive. Love the mechanics of you control Cereza or Bayonetta with one Joy-Con, and you can control the little demon with the other Joy-Con. I thought the premise, when I first heard about the premise, I thought that was like bananas. How is that going to work? It worked perfectly, in sync, and I love the way they do the split screen on it if you go too far. So you can control both at the same time. It's not invasive. Like, you really do get the hang of it. And I thought it was interesting. And I like to see more games do different things like that mechanically.
Sure.
That I think that's a game that really works on the Switch because of how far apart the Joy-Cons are if you're holding it, or you could play it, take the Joy-Cons off. I think maybe it'll be a little bit harder to do that when you're holding, like a controller and your sticks are more closer together. Right? So I will say it's perfect for the Switch. Also want to give a shout out to Street Fighter 6. It was this close for making my list.
Wow,
this close.
Okay.
I had some issues only with the character select screen. Half the characters were new and half the characters were old school characters. I still love the old school characters that they had. Ryu, Ken.
Sure.
They were missing some other old school characters that were missing from there that I would have loved to see.
Bison's still not in the game.
Well, Bison, spoilers. Bison was killed.
Yeah. If you're following the storyline, yeah.
But the new characters really didn't get me. I had a chance to get the special edition with the statues. I really didn't care. I didn't get it. GameStop is like, $50, and I couldn't bring myself to buy it again.
Oh.
They didn't. So the new characters really didn't bring me in, and listen, I like the open world New York or Manhattan style map, and you go around fighting and you have to train. You gotta do a lot of training. I will say that.
Yep.
But that didn't capture me the way I thought it would, or the idea of it would make me do. But it was okay. It was really good. It was this close to making my list, and we had to make a top 5 list.
Okay.
So it could have made my top 10.
I disagree.
And my last.
I disagree on everything about Street Fighter 6. To be honest.
Wow.
I thought it was great. Like I get not having the familiarity of some of your favorites not being in there, but also by that same token, you don't just want to rehash it and not have any new characters, So they went a little out there with it. They cranked it to 11 and said, okay, half old, half new, more or less. We're going to give you all these crazy new gameplay modes and mechanics, the big arcade, the kind of city traversal, create a character mode, which I think is cool. But yeah. All right.
No, didn't capture me.
Okay.
And my last honorable mention, Hogwarts Legacy.
Oh my God.
Which is just Harry Potter game, but they had to take the name Harry Potter off, even though this is 100 years before Harry Potter, to be fair.
Right.
But
not a lot of controversy.
If there was no controversy, I guarantee you it would have been Harry Potter / Hogwarts Legacy, right? They would have had that Harry Potter in the name if there was no controversy.
Yeah, so, but it did really well. I heard. I think
it's the best-selling game of the year. It outsold Call of Duty.
That's crazy.
People love Harry Potter.
Yeah.
I love Harry Potter.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Like, hello, Mr. Potter. Whenever I do, my British accent, I always start with Potter. With hello, Mr. Potter.
Oh, my God.
Hello.
Yeah, you dressed as Harry one year. I remember.
I was Harry from the Hood.
Mm-hmm.
I never dressed up, but I was Harry Potter from the Hood.
Oh, so
that one Halloween.
So good.
Yeah. So I this is the Hogwarts that everybody wanted. It's the Harry Potter game everybody wanted.
Okay. Now I know honorable mentions. They're important. We also have to acknowledge the honorable misses, or the ones that just didn't quite make it. And I have 2, which I was very upset about. One of those is Atomic Heart, which I thought was going to be a lot better. It was okay. It was okay. It had a very BioShocky vibe to it in like every sense of the word. But like with like Cold War USSR overtones to it in this world. Yeah, the intro was super cool. That kind of got me in. But then when I started playing, I was like, it's like second-rate BioShock.
I thought the game would be a hidden gem, not a miss. It would be a hidden gem of 2023.
It's all right.
I think you're bananas. You going out crazy.
It was way too much like BioShock, but just also not as good as BioShock.
You didn't like the
why not just play
tentacle?
BioShock?
You didn't like the mechanical tentacle mechanics?
It was. Yeah, no, it was like kind of cool, but I don't know. The execution wasn't quite there. I think it needed a little more time to kind of try and differentiate itself. Because I kept thinking about BioShock all the time, because it was very much in the style of that. Not that they were like trying to one-to-one copy it, but you could tell where the influence came from. So I was like, I don't know. So those are the 2 that were kind of half baked for me. Oh, that was one of the ones that was half baked. The other one, which, oh my God, I was choosing: am I gonna get Baldur's Gate 3 or am I gonna get Diablo 4? And we're talking about the misses, so I picked Diablo 4, and not great, not a bad game by any means, but just I don't know, just didn't have that Diablo je ne sais quoi, that You know, I don't know. Just really, really wasn't there for me. It's fun. I play it from time to time, but it's okay.
I just want to pause the game.
Oh yeah,
Pause the
right,
game.
right,
I just want to pause it.
Well,
I can't pause the game, and that takes me out of it. I'm sorry.
it's a living, breathing world. That's the way
It
they
is.
set it up, and you can hop in and out and pair up with people. So there's yeah. I'm with you. I'm with you.
All right. So, Dave, instead of like we did, last couple of years of, you name me five, I name my five. Why don't we do like we originally did when we first started the show? We sort of go back and forth. Like you go, I'll let you go first, and then I'll name, and we go in order.
Okay.
So I thought, in the interest of time, we'll go in order from, number one game on the list is our personal game of the year.
Okay. Okay.
So
I
number
guess
five.
I guess I'll just get into it. Sleeper hit game that we didn't know was coming out got announced and released day and date on the Xbox system by Tango Gameworks. Hi-Fi Rush. Great game. Great game. Amazing. Not winning as many awards as maybe it should, but it's a very tough year, so I understand. But
Not even nominated for as many awards as I think it should. At least at the Game Awards, it should have been nominated a lot more times.
I agree. Combat mechanics are tight. It's a third-person action game that has a musical kind of rhythm component. You don't necessarily have to fight to the beat, but it is better if you
If you want the combos, if you want the points and leveling up about the points, it's like an arcade game. Right?
Yeah, and like, you kind of get in that rhythm, that kind of, or like you're kind of like jiving with the music, and it kind of just like it feels different, and also like the soundtrack changes as you like hit the beat. And they licensed out some top tier talent to do some of the songs. They got 9 Inch Nails in there, among others. I'm a little bit worried what's going to happen when those licenses run out. This game may fall by the wayside. Thankfully, there's a physical, I believe, right?
No, there's no physical.
Well, shoot, that's going to be a
theme
problem.
going forward.
That's going to be a problem. I forgot. That's right. It was only on Xbox Game Pass.
It's the only Games Pass.
Yeah. So that sucks. This is probably going to fall prey to many of the games that have licensed soundtracks, your Crazy Taxis, your Jet Set Radios, and all that. So, get it while you can, play it while you can. Great game. Yeah.
Okay. Well, in that theme, this is a game I didn't even know I was going to play because they said there was no physical release, at least in the West. So I said, I'm out. Didn't know it was on Games Pass. So when I started playing it on, I gave it a try on Games Pass, and I kept playing. So I said, well, I'm really liking this game, and I've grown to love this game over time, so I need to buy it. So I ended up importing it from PlayAsia. Accidentally bought it for the PS4 instead of the PS5, but that's okay.
Dan.
That's okay. Doing? It was
Rookie
cheaper.
maneuver.
It was cheaper.
Okay.
It was cheaper.
Cheaper by $10?
$20, I think.
Wow. Okay. All right. Well, good stuff.
And that is like a Dragon Gaiden, the man who erased his name. I love these new more action style, Yakuza games, because it is a Yakuza game that they, sort of taking it back to the original name and how it is in Japan. In Japan, it's not called a Yakuza game. It's called, Like a Dragon. So I thought the story, it was short. It's a short game. It's an Order 1886, time-wise game.
Let's not get crazy. Come on, you could beat this you beat this on your coffee break? I don't know about that, but all right.
I think it was less than 10. It only took me like 8 hours to beat this. This is actually shorter.
Okay.
Well, they did say this was going to be a shorter experience because Like a Dragon Infinite is coming out, where you have the two protagonists coming together story-wise. So this was sort of showing what happened to the main guy after Yakuza 6.
Okay.
And we see what happens, he's out of the Yakuza, but somebody actually figures oh yeah, we know you. You're not dead. All right. And then you gotta, fight through that whole storyline. And I love Japanese games like the Persona series and all that when they have it translated into English for us.
Mm-hmm.
And the story is just so over the top. Especially, I mean, one of the highlights of doing the show was when I first played Persona 5, and I immediately came to the show and I said, what kind of story is this?
Yep.
Because this story was out of this world.
Yep. I was with you on that. I'm like, this is like weird even for Japan. Like, I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but the story on this is awesome. I love the action. I always hoard my food, energy, right?
Oh, in the game.
I always try
to
like in the game because no, not in real life. Not in real life, because when you play it, because I always you start on like the hardest difficulty, and you just powered through it for however long years if it take you.
Sometimes,
right?
Yeah.
I started on normal or whatever the medium difficulty is, and then I pare it down to easy once I got like a feel of like the story and the mechanics, and I'm like, all right, now I just want to get through it. But because in the beginning I have so many drinks and food because you need to, it's so easy to lose life, and you got to power up. And I make games, even though I play it on easy, I make it hard on myself because I don't even upgrade anything. I don't upgrade my move sets, my weapons, anything.
See, you stubbornly
so
make it more difficult on yourself. Oh.
Yes, I don't play it on hard, but I play it on hard.
Yeah,
technically.
Yeah.
Right. I'm like halfway through the game and I can still die in like 3 hits.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right, and that's because I haven't powered up enough.
Oh.
But the story is crazy, heartfelt, especially towards the end. They really want you to feel something, and like I did shed a tear at the end. I was kind of like, wow, they really did hit me.
Okay. You got.
So I don't want to spoil it just in case.
Right here.
I don't want to spoil it just in case. But
I'll get there.
So, what's your number 4?
My number 4, we actually met Theory, the head of the studio, in 2018, I think. This was our game of PAX East, the creator of The Messenger, Sabotage Studios. Their new game, Sea of Stars. I backed it on Kickstarter way back when. You did?
Remember?
And I got all the really cool goodies with it. Super awesome. Love the game. It is very much a love letter to the old school Squaresoft, back when they were just Squaresoft and not Square Enix. The old school 16-bit RPGs. Sea of Stars, it's amazing. It's beautiful. It's a very good game. There's some action mechanics in battle to keep it kind of fresh, which is cool. It's not just mash the A button. There's some timing attacks, and certain enemies are weak to certain attacks, and you got to kind of figure that stuff out. Really cool. Not done with the game yet, because there's, I'm kind of taking my time with it, really kind of soaking it all in, but very good game. Yeah, love it. And they got, sorry, one more thing. They got Yasunori Masuda of Chrono Trigger, Xenogears, and Chrono Cross fame to do some of the tracks in there. In that game.
I heard that.
Yeah, it's very good.
The only game on the list that I have not played yet.
Oh my god, I don't know if you would like it.
It's not my type of game, but I still would like to try it because there's a lot of hype around it.
Oh,
and I'll try anything. I'll try the game.
It's a great game. Story's great. Music, the visuals, everything's on point. The combat may be a little bit tough, but I will say, they do have easy mode in there. They have little charms that you can turn on to make it like really easy. Not like in a bad way, just like you can enjoy the story more. So you may like it more than I'm actually thinking now.
So they also have that in Super Mario RPG, the remake. Mm-hmm. Right, you can make it easier. I didn't really mention that. I didn't get a chance to mention that in the games I've been playing. I've been playing that too. Did play it normally, the way it was, and made it halfway through the game as a kid. Mm-hmm. Don't really have that type of time, but I love the fact that they put an easy mode in. See what happens when you put an easy mode in games? So
yes, I know. I know. It's great. It's great. Dan is a happy camper and doesn't complain. That's what happened.
My number 4, and again, it's close from Street Fighter 6, edging it out, but I had to give it to Mortal Kombat 1
They
for
couldn't
all the
both be on
reasons
the
why.
list? Couldn't both be on the
They
list?
couldn't both on the list, but for all the reasons why I wasn't so enthralled with Street Fighter 6, I was with Mortal Kombat 1.
Nice.
They still have all, for the most part, the legendary characters that you know, but they remixed them and rechanged the story. They rechanged the timelines and everything. So where Street Fighter 6 had you roaming aimlessly through a Manhattan street, training your character, for no reason, though. That was the thing. You're just training to get better. I mean, it's like when I'm Goku, I'm training to get better. There's no rhyme or reason why I'm roaming. You're not giving me anything. Why am I doing it? I'm just doing this because this is like something new. I have a new story mode. How did we get here? Where are these other characters that I know, and how have they been remixed? Right. So I have a whole story mode to play through, and it was great. I did play some matches online. I got my ass handed to me, so that one I won't be doing again. I always try it out. I did win one match. Must have been a newbie, or I got lucky.
Okay. You gotta
fatality.
You gotta get that one bronze online trophy, right?
Yeah, I
Game
know.
online.
I know. The movesets are still familiar. It's really the story that I'm a story-driven game player, so the story really brought me in. That story mode, mechanics are great. Fatalities, still hard to do. Still hard to do. But I really thought it's the old characters, but they're new. If that makes sense. Like it's everybody you know and familiar with, just presented in a completely different light.
Right.
So they've sort of refreshed them, and I kind of would love for Street Fighter to do something along those lines.
Okay.
But Mortal Kombat 1, definitely my number 4.
Okay.
What's your number 3?
Oh, Dan. Possibly the best remake of all time. And yes, it is a remake. We're not gonna rehash that whole thing. And I think definitely us, and I think gamers in general have kind of come to the consensus that remakes are okay to be put up on the block for Game of the Years, because when remakes come out now, they are typically very overhauled, right? And in the case of Resident Evil 4, it's very
has
much
to be enough new.
Yeah, oh yeah,
enough new.
Yeah, and there
as
is,
you always tell me,
there is a ton new in this, right? I played this game at least 6, 7, 8 times all the way through, because you get the new game. Because you get the new game plus when you go again. Yeah, and there's all these achievements that you can get, and they really kind of make it where you can keep going through you, and then you get the mercenaries mode when you can play the kind of like the survival mode, right? You get like three minutes to survive in whatever area you're in, which I think is super cool. Yeah, it's wild. Everything they did is great. Right now, there's some people that we may have talked about it on the show about the yellow paint controversy. Right, everyone was up in arms because they made the objects that were breakable with yellow paint over it, and a lot of people are like, "Oh my God, it's taking me out of the game" and whatnot. And yes, it's a little bit obvious, but it's not. It fits, and it's a level of accessibility. Not everybody would realize oh, I can break these things or whatever, right? So there's a whole thing about that or whatever. That had nothing to do with the game. That wasn't a detriment to the game whatsoever. But they overhauled everything. They took out all the QTE events, and they're now real time. So when the boulder's coming after you, you have to run as opposed to tapping the left and right buttons. They reworked a lot of the battles to be a little bit more in line with today's game mechanics. They added in a bunch of new weapons and secrets and unlockables, which is super cool. Lots of outfits. They reworked the mercenaries mode a little bit. There's some different characters you can play as. love the remake. Like, that's how you do it. That's how you do it.
I know.
5 and 6 are going to be amazing when they end up remaking 5 and 6 because they're going to do them all.
Do they need remakes for 5 and 6 though? Like 4, up to 4, I could see them having a remake. Do they really need a remake for 5 and 6?
You know when Resident Evil 5 and 6 came out?
Yes, I do. I got right back into gaming.
Obama was still in office, Dad.
I got back into game. Well, his first term, right? I think it was like his first term.
Yeah. It's been a long damn time. All right. Listen. We need remakes of 5 and 6. We do not need remakes of The Last of Us Part 2. But Resident Evil 5 and 6, there's certainly been enough time. Yeah, right? These are from the 7th generation, right? These are on the 360 and the PS3, these games.
So what they're going to do is remake 7 and 8.
I mean, maybe. I mean, by the time they get around to 5 and 6, it may be time to do 7 and 8 again. And you know what?
No. They're gonna put out 7 and 8 next year.
Oh my God, no. 7 and 8 are a little bit too new. You definitely can't do it with 8. But I don't know. They're gonna put all the scenes that they cut with commentary from the director, and then they put a horde mode in, and then it's brand. Then it's necessary. There you go.
All right. So my number 3, I'm going with Star Wars Jedi Survivor.
A game I haven't played yet.
If you're a Star Wars fan, it's supposed to be canon. It's mechanics. They've refined the mechanic. Look, the issue with Star Wars Survivor is it's a little janky, especially if you played it on PC. It's a little janky.
They had some issues.
They fixed all of that. And if that game with all the bug fixes would have released, and again, I played this on console, I didn't get a lot of it. I didn't get the face, not working. I did get I kill the monster and it's stuck in the wall, right?
Yeah, typical things, typical game things.
That's okay. Yeah. Fallout 4.
Yeah.
Fallout 4.
I mean,
and it's still got Game of the Year. So come on.
In some outlets.
But if they would have fixed all of those sort of bug fixes, mostly for PC players, I think this game would have been more highly rated. With everything going on, all the other games that came out, it would have been more highly rated. But I think it got lost in the shuffle.
Yeah,
I think I lost in the shuffle because people of the PC community really crapped on the game because of all the bug fixes. Because God forbid something's not perfect, gamers. Because gamers are really fickle. If it's not perfect, they are like, this game sucks.
I mean, when you have a stacked year, though. It's kind of.
No, I understand that. I understand.
But yeah, people can be a little judgy.
We continue the story of Cal Kestis. I love. There's a sort of a twist towards the end. There's like a twist that I didn't even see coming. I know some people said they saw it coming. I didn't see it coming. It's kind of hard to talk. I really want to talk about that twist because I know you didn't play it, but
it's okay. You can say it. He's Luke's long lost brother.
I wish. That would have been awesome. Mechanics, perfect. They built upon what they did on the first game. They fixed the map system, which we both had an issue with in the first game.
It was a little janky, yeah.
It was a little that was a little janky. Story wise, I thought the story was fantastic. Again, it's weird because they couldn't chop off limbs because they had to leave that for the movies, right? Like, so it's always weird.
That's like a thing in the Star Wars universe, hacking off body parts and whatever was supposed to be monumentous occasions. Thing. Yeah, like big things.
Yeah. But you can't on a robot. You can't on like a robot.
They're disposable.
That's
right?
different. They're disposable. No. So they did fix it, and the ending I thought was fantastic. Me personally, I thought that was fantastic, and I would love to see the third iteration. I can't wait for the third iteration.
Oh yeah,
the trilogy.
Yeah. So. It definitely did well enough that they're going to do another one for sure.
So no microtransactions.
Hey.
So what's your number?
There you go.
What's your number 2?
Yeah, wait, no microtransactions in a game that came from EA too. Right?
I know.
They stuck to their
Monumental.
guns. Yeah, love it. Number 2, baby. Best franchise ever in the entire gaming history.
Uncharted?
Fantasy.
Wow.
No. Final Fantasy XVI. That's 16. That's 16 for you non-Roman numeral fans. All right? Final Fantasy 16, baby. Game is bananas. It may be too bananas. I'm sorry. Because, like, there's a lot of... The game goes like this, right? It's like crazy highs, and then like, oh, well, now we're just like sitting here on a beach, and like it's all completely desolate, and then like, boom, oh, here comes another icon coming over the hill. We're gonna get into it, and you gotta like fall through like 17 layers of the earth down to like hell and get your body ripped apart, and it's like, and then the next scene, like, oh, we're just chilling out in a cave. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
it's a lot.
That's pretty much how it is.
It's a lot. But it's awesome. I love it. The graphics are amazing. The fact that you can fight as the icons is super cool. It's amazing.
You get to power them up too, right? You get
Yes.
to power them up and level them up, right?
Yeah.
And you got to
yeah.
pick the right people usually just pick the right icon for them, right? That combination, and just stick with that.
Yep.
I know I did.
Yep. Yeah. Super cool. Love all that. Love the icon designs. The guy who plays Clive, I mean, everybody in that is great. The voice acting is like incredible, but the guy who plays Clive really kind of hits it. You know,
Well,
he's good.
this game, even for me, is the only game that you have on your list that I would have had on my list. Like this would have been high up on my list.
Yeah.
Like this game is amazing. I loved it. I got it before you, and I was telling you got to get this game. I know you're a big Final Fantasy fan. I mean, this is the first Final Fantasy since 7 that I was hyped about. Right. And and they're going to continue the action RPG realm going forward. Well, we'll see how long that lasts. But I will say,
I think till a new genre comes out. Yeah.
I will say this for Christmas. Real quick, the side note for Christmas, I did get Snatcher. I would have had that. I would have had that ready. I didn't know we were going to. I kind of forgot we were going to record today. I would have had that ready. But I own Snatcher for the Sega CD, mint condition, by the way, perfect.
Very nice.
And as you know, I always get it from my clients to get it for Christmas. And I promise, his son, the same client that buys me all these things for Christmas, his son is, got into gaming. He had a Switch back in the day. He's now 14. He has a PS5. His son, brought him a PS5 last year. I wanted to do something nice. Because games is what I know. So I bought him Final Fantasy 16.
Oh, nice.
For Christmas, even though he's Jewish.
For Hanukkah.
Even though there you go. The holiday, New Year's.
They have their own holiday, Dad. 8 nights of it.
I know. So I've been going, like, I kept asking him, I was like, did he play it yet? Did he play it yet? And he's like, I don't know. He's my son, but I don't see him. He's always out with his friend. So one day recently, or earlier this week, my client calls me and talks to me about things. And I didn't even ask him. He said, oh, yeah, by the way, what's this Final Fantasy game? You got him, or whatever you call it. He loves it.
Nice.
He's like he's like, this guy turned into a big phoenix and this and that. And I was like, oh, okay. So I know he played it because I know he has no idea what any of this is. So he loves the game.
Nice.
I introduced this kid to Final Fantasy, and let's see, he may be a Final Fantasy kid going forward.
Hey, teaching him well, Dan. It's good stuff.
Look at that.
Good stuff. All right. So what's your number 2?
I got to go with Super Mario Wonder, man. This game was fantastic.
On the Dave scale? Fantastic on the Dave scale?
We got to bring that back one last time.
Bring that back.
On the Dave scale. Fantastic.
It's up here. Through the roof.
Oh, listen, the level design, I love good platformer, the little hidden areas. I didn't 100% it. I beat it. I got all the big coins. I found all the. I can't even. It's been so long. I beat it a while ago, so we haven't done the show. So excuse me if I don't remember every little name for every little thing. But I got all the secrets and everything. The only thing I didn't do was this. I didn't beat that last level in the special world, where you get that last badge.
Okay.
Because you do get special abilities that you can only use one of them in each level, right? And the last level in the special world, you have to use all those abilities, right? They put you in that section. So it's basically like it's basically like one of those torturous Mario Maker levels.
Oh, no. But that's kind of cool,
one of
though,
those.
right? Everything like
It's
kind of
one of
comes to a
those.
head, and you're like, all right, use all the techniques that you've learned. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess my only disappointment, and I'm nitpicking here, is that I figured this was an opportunity for them to introduce a new villain. I don't think necessarily we needed Bowser in this.
Yeah.
Right? They could have used this to introduce somebody new, or maybe somebody old that we forgot about early on. Right? And because they had that wonder theme, I mean, I'm still saying, this is Super Mario. If Mario was on drugs, 'cause
Yeah.
he gets that flower. He gets that
it's a little
flower, and
wild.
everything goes,
Yeah,
everything goes hippie.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah. They just forgot to add the animation where he lights up the flower.
Ha
and
ha
smokes.
ha. Hey, come on, it's a G-rated game, Dan. You got to use your
I don't
imagination.
know. Well,
You can't
maybe
put that
maybe
in
it's a brownie flower. Maybe it's a brownie flower.
there. Yeah.
The music is fantastic. I
Yep.
would give music of the year to Super Mario Wonder. I would do that, and I love the talking flower that hints. And I will say it does. I was so meticulous because I was like, I gotta find something because this was too easy. And yep, it was too easy. And you got to listen to the stupid flower, even though you could turn him down in the settings, but you got to listen to the flower. And he does do subtle things like, wow, you can get back there. Right. He's like, and
Right.
he says things like that, like give you a little hint. So
Yeah.
I did everything. I got to the top of the flagpole. I found all the coins, the flowers, the mushrooms or whatever. I got all the vegetables and the fruits and the coins. I found them all.
Nice.
The only thing I didn't do in this game is pass that damn Super Mario Maker level at the end.
Right. Oh, shoot. Yeah.
You got to play it, Dave. You got to play it. And the elephant makes sense. It makes sense. I know people were kind of like, why an elephant?
Well,
That makes no sense.
You have to play it. You have to play it. Yeah.
You have to play it, and you have flowers, singing flowers and roses, and you got the wonder flower. That's what it was called, the wonder flower.
Yep.
And it makes sense that flowers need water. What could be a way to distribute the water, right? What holds water? An elephant. Unless you want them to put the stupid sun pack back.
Oh, from Sunshine. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't even.
They've done that already, you know.
What was the name? What was the name of that?
Flood, I think. FLUDD.
Yeah,
Flood. Yeah.
Yeah. You want to bring back the flood in 2D form?
No.
In 2D form?
Everything is new in Wonder, right? Everything is new. Just about all the power-ups are new. There's a couple of, the mushroom and the fire.
Well, you still got you still got that.
Yeah, but just about everything else is brand new. Every damn level has a new mechanic that's different and engaging. Nothing overstays its welcome. From what I've seen, I haven't actually gotten into it yet, but
I will say this: when I played it, this was my game of the year. Until
this other game came in there. All right,
we'll talk about that level. So
a little bit of suspense.
So we're here. Dave.
We
for
out
the
here.
For the first time, Rated G will have count them, 2 games of the year. What is your GOAT of 2023?
Before I say that, I think if we did this in the traditional sense, where great minds come together, come to a consensus, we probably would have picked Final Fantasy 16, I think. Because there's some games that I played, and there's some games that you've played, and there's some games that we both played. and we were both really high on Final Fantasy 16. So I think that may have made the cut in that case. But
if this was a traditional year, that probably would have been Game of the Year.
But it's not. And there's a lot of games, a lot of great games we haven't even mentioned that have come out this year.
Cyberpunk DLC.
This is the Cyberpunk DLC, sure. Dave the Diver, right? That's another one that's come out. There's big year for games. But I mean, come on. The game that we went.
It can only be one.
We went to the Nintendo store and we waited in line for this damn game.
Hours.
Which was super cool. I'm glad we did it. Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom, Game of the Year. I love it. The fusing mechanic, amazing with the Ultra Hand. Everything is better from the previous one. It's not to say that Breath of the Wild is a worse game. It's still hard to say because Breath of the Wild did so many new things, and this kind of iterated over it. It's the same world, but bigger. There's the Sky Islands and the underground, so it's almost triple the size. So much stuff to do. I haven't even beaten it yet. I keep going back to it and just getting sidetracked in a good way.
I'm surprised.
In a good way.
Me, I still haven't beat Breath of the Wild.
I know. Well, you're like right at the end,
around
too.
the
You
land.
just got to walk in and beat Ganon. But I did the four temples. I got the 4 companions, and I'm kind of putting off that because, like, after you beat it, like, it's kind of like, I don't, there's you kind of lose.
You got the Master Sword, and you got the Master Sword.
I did, yes, I did get the Master Sword. The Master Sword is back in a completely different location. So if you go looking in the same spot, you ain't gonna find it. It's amazing. Everything is like crazy good about this game. It's just I love it. It's up there. Like greatest games of all time. It's up there. It's in that conversation, Dan. That's my number one.
Better than Breath of the Wild.
I don't know. I don't know if I can say that. Now, like as a game, yes, it's better in just about every way than Breath of the Wild, but it builds upon Breath of the Wild, if that makes any sense. Like, Breath of the Wild did so much new. This does have a lot of new stuff, but it's all built on the back of Breath of the Wild, right?
Yeah. I understand.
If that makes any sense. So, like, just like as a game, yes, it's better, but in just kind of like a wow factor, or like, the kind of monumentalness, like of like, wow, this is like a crazy new experience, right? Maybe Breath of the Wild wins in that case. It depends on what the criteria is. I'll say that.
Okay. That makes sense.
So,
all right.
What is the D. Robinson Game of the Year? This is what I want to know.
Formerly known as Classic. Well, you forgot that one in the last episode. This game should have got a lot more love than it did. And I think, I know Baldur's Gate 3 won Game of the Year at a lot of outlets, and that came out of nowhere.
Yep. The Game Awards had it top of the list. Yeah, it's crazy.
I think this would have been in real contention if it wasn't for Baldur's Gate. Not to say it would have won, but they would have got more love. And I don't know why people. I feel like there's like low key like crapping on this game for some reason. Like I heard somebody say repetitive. Well, a lot of games are repetitive. Once you, a lot of games are repetitive after a while. I mean, 25-hour unique experiences are. The Last of Us was repetitive, but the story really got you. But it was still repetitive. They're shooting, and you have zombies, and you have to hide and stealth or go guns blazing every time. So, but my game of the year, 2023, Marvel's Spider-Man 2.
Okay.
That story, the mechanics, 2 Spider-Mans, and you can tag team with both Spider-Mans. Each Spider-Man has. I 100%ed the game. I didn't platinum it. I 100%ed. I got every single thing in here, and they expanded the map. You got Brooklyn and a fake Queens. I say fake because the part of Queens that they put in the game isn't that close to Manhattan.
Yeah.
That's that close to Manhattan.
Fudged it a little bit.
Further. It's a little further out than the way they make it sound.
Yep.
Venom's in the game. I liked the way they put Kraven and that whole interaction with Kraven and Venom. Like, I liked the way they did that. Like, I know people were kind of crapping on like Kraven and his motivations.
Right.
But, I mean, he's Kraven. He's a bad guy. His bad guy motivations usually don't make a lot of sense because it's something you wouldn't do, but you're not them. And you're not in that situation. The only thing I didn't like, and they did add this to the game, was Mary Jane elements, stealth elements, and then they gave her and then they gave her action elements at the end of the game.
Yeah.
But I love the Easter eggs. We kind of have an idea of who are going to be the bad guys in the next game because there's going to be a next game. I like the Miles Morales sort of sections. The Peter Parker, I love the way, I know a lot of people wanted, when the MCU, when Spider-Man came back in the MCU, they wanted him more to go back to being in high school, right? Being that young guy that just got his powers and he's trying to figure out what to do. I love because I'm a little older. I like the Spider-Man from the animated series where he's a grown guy trying to sort of figure out, juggle, like, how do I have semi-normal life, but then save New York City? And that's the Peter Parker that we got, where, the beginning of the game, you have this Sandman, you have this big epic boss battle with the Sandman that really sets up the rest of the game and why he's going crazy. But Peter Parker is like, he just started his new job and now he has to leave to go save New York, but nobody knows that and he has to juggle that, right. So I kind of like that Peter Parker because we got a bunch of movies with Tom Holland in high school, right? We already got that. So I like bringing it back to an older Spider-Man, and he's trying to figure out how to live life, and his best friend in the game. That's all I'm going to say. Obviously, we know we know about his best friend, Osborn, Harry Osborn. I'm trying not to spoil it for you because I know you didn't play it.
Yeah.
Certain things I want to say, but we got an extended map, and it's so. And the thing that people thought they would hate about the game, I kind of like, and that is the web gliding. Like that sort of, you can combo it up where you're web slinging. You find they have like wind tunnels that you can go into to help zip you over here. And then and I like this part. Once you in certain areas of the map fight crime and you sort of make it safer, you can now fast travel there. So you can't fast travel until you make the neighborhood safer.
Sure. Yeah.
So beat up a bunch of bad guys, unlock some things, and then you unlock fast travel, and that helps tremendously. Helps tremendously.
I bet.
So this is my game of the year. They gave me everything I wanted, and it's super cool to web sling around Queens.
Yeah, it doesn't get a lot of love. Whenever you get games set in New York, it's always Manhattan, maybe Brooklyn if you're lucky. Never Queens.
Yeah. So, Dave, not going to get emotional.
It's okay, Dan. It's okay.
Been a long. I mean, I feel
right. It'll be all right.
We did a lot. We went to PAX every year. That was awesome. That was you put me onto that. I will be at PAX this year.
I may be going.
Covering
I still gotta see how things are, but it's a possibility.
So, gonna miss you, man. Gonna miss doing the show with you. Gonna miss arguing, you know.
Oh, we're still going to argue, Dan. You know that. It just won't be on the internet for everyone to see.
There won't be, yes. And I just want to tell you from the bottom of my heart, Super Mario World's still the best game of all time.
Ah, there it is. There it is. There it is. I knew you had to get that in there at some point in time.
Come on, the last episode. Come on.
I'll let you have that. No. I'll let you have that because you need a win, Dan. All right. All right. You need a win.
The people on the website have spoken.
Well, I think on that note, is that episode 379 in the books? Can we say that? Yeah.
Episode 379, RIP.
I want to thank you guys for listening to the show, for liking, commenting, and doing all the good stuff that you guys do. If you want to interact with us, and we know that you do, you can find us on Facebook, X, Instagram, YouTube, and Threads at Rated G for Gamers. So please listen, like, rate, review, and subscribe. And as always,
Keep gaming.